Hello, this video is about filing Forms 1095B and 1094B. I will cover the following topics in this video: key points of Form 1095B, a walkthrough of each of the four parts of Form 1095B, and a review of the fields on Form 1094B. One of the provisions of the Affordable Care Act is the individual mandate, which serves as the basis for Form 1095B reporting. The individual mandate states that each individual must have minimum essential coverage for each month, or qualify for an exemption, or pay a penalty. This penalty is called the Individual Shared Responsibility Payment. Form 1095B is an information return filed by healthcare insurers and self-insuring employers with less than 50 full-time equivalent employees. The purpose of this form is to allow taxpayers to establish and IRS to verify that taxpayers were covered by minimum essential coverage. Form 1094B is the transmittal that is used to summarize the total number of 1095Bs sent to the IRS in one batch. Let's get started reviewing each part of Form 1095B. Part 1 reports information about the responsible individual. The responsible individual is the taxpayer who would be liable for the individual shared responsibility payment for the covered individuals. In line 1, you enter the name of this taxpayer. Line 2 should include the responsible individual's Social Security number or taxpayer identification number. Enter the responsible individual's date of birth in line 3 only in the case where line 2 is blank. Lines 4 through 7 should include the responsible individual's address. Line 9, which is the Small Business Health Options Program Marketplace Identifier, should be left blank for 2015. Let's go back to line 8 now. Enter the origin of policy in line 8. There are 6 possible codes that can be entered on this line. Code A is for the Small Business Health Options Program, better known as SHOP. Code B is for employer-sponsored coverage. Code C is a government-sponsored program. Code D is for individual market insurance. Code E is a multi-employer plan commonly used for reporting by unions. And Code F is any other designated minimum essential coverage. Part 2 of Form 1095B reports information about the employer sponsoring the coverage. Enter the name, employer identification number, and address for the employer sponsoring the coverage. If line 8 in Part 1 is either Code A or Code B, complete Part 2. There is an exception to this rule, however. Employers reporting self-insured group health plan coverage enter Code B on line 8, but then should skip Part 2. The reason for this is because a self-insured employer is considered the provider in this case, and provider information is reported in Part 3. A self-insured employer is an employer who has liability for all employee claims incurred and pays each claim. If line 8 equals code C, D, E, or F, you can skip Part 2. In Part 3, you report the information about the coverage provider, which is actually the filer of Form 1095B. You list the name, employer identification number, and address for the provider of the coverage in Part 3. Line 18 should include a telephone number that individuals can call seeking information about their 1095B. The last part, Part 4, reports information on any individuals covered under the policy. Column A should list the name of each covered individual. In column B, you report the covered individual's Social Security number or taxpayer identification number. If you do not have the covered individual's Social Security number, you can enter the covered individual's date of birth in column C if column B is blank. Column D should be checked if the individual was covered for at least 1 day per month for all 12 months of the calendar year. If the individual was not covered for all 12 months, check the applicable boxes in column E for the months in which the individual was covered for at least 1 day. Now that I've covered Form 1095B, let's review its transmittal, Form 1094B. Again, Form 1094B serves as a cover sheet to your batch of 1095Bs, summarizing the number of 1095Bs sent to the IRS in one batch. On Form 1094B, you enter the name, employer identification number, and address for the provider of the coverage. This name, EIN, and address should match the information reported on Form 1095B, Part 3. Lines 3 and 4 report the name and telephone number of a contact who can answer 1095B questions. Remember, since Form 1094B is only being sent to the IRS, this person should be someone who can answer questions from the IRS. This may not necessarily be the same contact telephone number listed in Part 3 of Form 1095B. Line 9 should include the number of 1095Bs submitted with the 1094B. Lastly, the filer should sign and date the form and include the title of the filer. Greatland's staff of specially trained account managers are standing by to provide you with excellent Affordable Care Act reporting information. Thank you.